Hey! Okay, so we all know base Assetto Corsa kinda looks like garbage, but what do I really mean by that? The game has a bunch of graphical tweaks to mess with, but most have to use downloadable shader overhauls to turn their game into a PC performance showcase. Sure, but Matt, what the hell are you on about? Why are we talking about this? I promise we'll circle back to this pretty quickly, but right now, let's talk about the track idea. Following up my previous track release and its intent, I thought today we would do a bit of the same with making as unrealistic of a track as possible in terms of the standards people tend to put on Assetto tracks. To put it more blunt, we're going to build a map with a low poly aesthetic to really shock your brain a bit. To accomplish this, I went and found an application called Blockbench. This application is mostly used for voxel games like Roblox or Minecraft. You can export to a bunch of different formats, allowing the use of 3D models made here to work with whatever application you want them to. The app was pretty easy to learn and was up and building in no time. Here, I'm making a tunnel cross-section that I can convert to a string object later. You can do all your texturing in the application as well, making the whole process a whole lot simpler. When I'm done, I can take my tunnel into Blender and scale it and export as an FBX file, then load into my Xpack with all the other low poly objects I made, configured as a string object, and after a few tests to ensure it functions how we want, we can go ahead and throw it into our map. Oh yeah, like last time I did some mining off camera. A majority of the objects in my Xpack are from this low poly model I found for free online, but there are a few in here I made myself, as well as all the string objects. I definitely got better as I created more. You can find that Xpack download for free in the RTB Discord. I'll link that below. I'll tell you right now, I'm definitely going to end up making another low poly Xpack at some point in the future, simply because I realized pretty much once I got to this point in the map, that my so-called low poly objects were way higher poly than a majority of other objects in normal Xpacks. My bad. In fact, a bit of a brain blast for you. A large majority of objects or buildings you may find in game will probably be a lower polygon count than you think. For example, here's my most complex low poly tree in Blender. Next to it is a fairly complex looking building. If we select each of these objects individually and add the decimate modifier to them, we can see the tree has almost 2100 faces, and the building actually only has 365. There's a big difference in the way these look, however. My tree looks low poly because of the textures, not because it's actually low poly. So a good way to make a track look very realistic is to add high texture assets, not necessarily high poly models. Having said this, the aesthetic of my map is low poly, but it's actually just a low resolution map, which sounds a whole lot worse when you say it out loud. But comparatively speaking, the resolutions of all of my textures are only 1/10 the size of normal object textures you would typically find, so I guess that kinda makes sense. Okay, so who cares? Get to the preview! I know, I just want to take a second to really cement that into your mind. When you drive a new map that's super realistic and true to life and looks all amazing, look at the building for a second. Look at the trees. You might just notice those super good looking trees on the map you've been driving for the past hour are actually just two PNGs crisscrossing. Bummer. But that's okay. That's my point. All that means is that the designer of the map was taking your PC performance into account so that as many people as possible can play the map with high FPS. They were sacrificing the 3D aspect of certain objects in order to save you a ton of extra performance and storage. And you didn't even notice it. I unfortunately didn't do that. And that's why this map is so big. I did test the map, however, with a buddy who has a 1660 GPU, and he was able to run it fine with capped 144 FPS, so don't worry there. To sum things up, I always try to preach creativity and freedom in my videos, and for this map, I took that a step further by entering into the world of asset creation. Unfortunately, I did that without taking into account PC performance and storage. It happens. I tried something new, and while it didn't completely break my map, I learned a valuable lesson from it that I can implement into future maps so you can have better experiences. Happy? I clickbaited you. I admit it. Assetto's graphics can be extremely beautiful. It just takes a bit of finagling to get them to that point and be able to run the game at a high frame rate at the same time. So, now, I'll finally give to you the highest polygon map I have made with the lowest resolution textures I have ever used. This is Low Poly Paradise.
But this activity by non-human extraterrestrial technology is capturing the attention of humans.
nothing to lose. Nothing can stop me. I'm all the way up. Wake up. I know what's real. Escape reality. Hardwired. place in the stars. This is the world you've made yourself. Now you have to live in it. The end is in our sights. The future is already here. No matter how hard we tried, we are doomed. Say your goodbyes. Brace yourself. I can see the end inside. Three, two, one. Disconnect.
Okay, so I'm starting a new video segment with this track release called What Now? We'll pose a topic for discussion relating either to the video it's attached to or a future video, and then the week following I'll go back and grab a comment or two to directly talk about. These are not going to be simple yes, no, I like it, I hate it questions. I want your opinions. Be as detailed as you want and as passionate as you feel appropriate, but remember to be respectful. I do not want to start a war in the comments. So, what now? In this video, I talked about polygons versus resolution. Even if you're not a map designer and you simply play games, which do you think is more important? The polygon count of the environment or the texture resolution? How would you determine the best balance for both? And in what situations do you think you should favor one over the other? Let me know and we can talk about it next time. I just wanted to wrap this up with a quick apology for taking so long to get this video out to you guys. It's been a hectic month. My car is in pieces by choice. My wife and I finally got married, so we've been doing a lot of family stuff and other event planning. And on top of that, my birthday's coming up the start of May, so yay me. In spite of all this, I will keep pumping out maps and interesting video topics for you guys, and I've gotten some really good feedback on potential videos and tutorials for the future, so I thank you for those, and I hope that you can take a second to subscribe in order to catch those ideas come into existence sometime soon. Thank you so much for staying till the end. Subscribe, like, I'll catch you later. GG's.